So I do think that obviously, we all have to do our personal healing and really notice when we're trying to be superior and when we are being inferior. But so on a micro level and also on a macro level, with the macro level seems almost hopeless, but I am also eternally positive.
Not hopeless at all. It's not
Right.
hopeless at all on the level. No. Things are only moving in one direction. That's all I see.
Okay, good, good. So you're seeing the light, more awakening, more light, and the work that you're doing is certainly in that direction. So what would people take home from this conversation about what they can do and also how they should be in the world and how we could all individually and collectively heal this?
Absolutely. Well, I think it does start with ourselves. And that is the unconditional model is exactly what you were saying. That when you project down on someone, when you think negatively about someone, and I'm not talking about seeing what you see. You know, when you see a pedophile, it's a pedophile, and you don't have to try to cloud that. It's what you
Yeah.
see, it's discernment.
Mhm.
But when you have a negative charge, a judgment, which is sort of like the smallest negative projection. When you murder, you are in the heaviest negative projection. So that means you have to make yourself either temporarily insane or you have to be insane all the time. And that insanity, I tell you, that is the network. Because one insanity is to think that you're superior, so that in that insanity, everybody who is inferior, you can do any harm you want. It doesn't matter, right? Because they're inferior anyway. But when you judge someone, you are already participating in that dark projection, which is completely false. It's you're lost. When you're darkly projecting, you need to. So the unconditional model says, okay, when I am finding myself looking down on someone, there is an intolerance there in me. There is something that I am not aware of inside myself. So if I'm completely intolerant and I judge a pedophile, doesn't mean that I'm a pedophile. It just means there is something in me. And so with the model and with very specific exercises and mindfulness and healing, it uses these power projections as a lens into our own unresolved trauma or unmet emotional needs. So if I can make the assumption that when I'm projecting down on someone, it actually is something in me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's first.
Mm-hmm.
You have to accept that first. And then we can start to heal ourselves. And when you project up to someone, when you give your power away to someone, when you think of them as better, like they're like a special human being. And of course, in the yoga community or the spiritual communities, this is so abused in so many ways, because there we have the ultimate authority is God. And of course, there is truth there. And then we have all these people, these pretenders to the throne, So there's a lot of power abuse there, of course. So when we project up, when we think someone is better than we are, and it also has something to do with our own fear, there is a placating that usually happens. There's a desire to please that comes from a fear-based place, a place of fear. That is to say that we have to assume that this person is a cardboard figure for an authority figure from our childhood, probably. That our placating is that this fear-based love, I call it, is really, there's a what if, there's a condition. What happens if I don't give this person the power they seem to want? What happens if I don't care that they are in a higher position than me? And I can be myself, I can be respectful. I've been in that situation many, many times where I was once fired from a job for being insubordinate. But I wasn't being very rebellious or anything. I was just not impressed. And I was not overly placating.
I get that.
It's a long time ago. But, but so we have the external paradigm where you're being invited to look up to people that have more power and money, and you're invited to look down on people that have less.